Hey y'all, my name's AJ. I'm wearing a black shirt and a blue hat. I'm based in DC, which is on Anacostan and Piscataway land. And I apologize. I'm sorry, my schedule said I was supposed to be here at the top of the hour. So I apologize for making folks wait. And yeah, I don't really like I guess doing university style lectures. So I'll talk about the JRC, but I would love questions. So the JRC is the Judge Rottenberg Center. It is an institution here in the U.S. An institution is a place that houses lots of disabled folks for various reasons, but it pretends to be a school, but it's not. And what they do there as part of, and I know we're supposed to talk about ABA therapy a little bit, which is applied behavioral analysis for folks who don't know. But they use aversive shocks on some of the people that are housed in the institution as aversives or behavioral correctives. And as far as we know, it's the only place that still does that in the US. And they use an electric shock device that was actually made by people at the Judge Rottenberg Center. And so what we do at the Autistic Self Advocacy Network in coalition with other advocates and activists is we're pushing to have this device banned and its use banned. A couple of years ago, the FDA, which is our Food and Drug Administration, actually did ban it, but the US legal system is weird. And so the Judge Rottenberg Center sued for that particular rulemaking. And the courts decided that the FDA did not have the authority to ban a specific device for a specific use. It only has the power to regulate a broad spectrum of uses. And so there's a really small technicality there. But anyway, they're still allowed to use the device, and it's not used on everyone that's at the JRC. It's only used on a couple of people. And allegedly, when new people go to the JRC, the new folks who are put into that institution are not put on the device. So the device is allegedly only used on people who have been at the institution for a longer period of time. And so what we as an organization are doing is one, pushing back against the common notions of what ABA is and what ABA therapies and techniques can be, even the new branding of the ABA. I know just recently, I don't know if you folks have seen this, but the ABA-I recently came out against use of the device, which is a big kind of deal. Formally, they either haven't taken a stance on that or had an opinion on that, or said leave it to the experts, the quote unquote experts, the Judge Rottenberg Center. And so, yeah, I'm seeing stuff in the chats about the votes and things like that. But again, what we do, yes, thank you. I'm sorry. ABAI is the ABA International, and they're kind of like the overarching group that kind of, directs what ABA is around the world. But again, like I digress. I think something that's really important for us is making sure that even though we understand that some parents and some caregivers and even some autistic folks themselves may want to use ABA therapies, and we completely understand that, and we're all about autonomy and self-determination, and even supported decision making. We want to make it clear that ABA is not always positive and oftentimes can be detrimental to autistic folks. It can be psychologically damaging, it can be emotionally damaging, it can be physically damaging. And so we take the position that, this is something that should not always be the first recommendation. And that includes using adversives like electric shocks at the JRC. And so we're fully against that. We're working to ban it. Actually, part of my job is working on getting the legislation through the US Congress, and hoping that, we can raise awareness of that and talking to folks about that, and educating not just politicians, but the broader public about what's going on, because a lot of people don't know that the Judge Rottenberg Center exists, right? A lot of people aren't aware of it. They aren't aware of what happens. They aren't aware of people facing, this inhumane treatment, frankly. And I know the UN Rapporteur on Torture a couple of years ago actually said that the use of electric shocks devices on people is torture. and yet it's still a practice that is allowed within the US, and that's something that we are very much fighting against. And yeah, that is kind of the background of what I do. I know that was really short, but I like to be really succinct and just open it up for questions. If anyone has questions, and Alejandro is putting all the stats in the chat. And yeah, thank you, Alejandro. But the numbers might not be great, but they've still at least moved towards saying that they are against use of ESDs, which are electric shock devices, as a form of ABA. So yeah, I'm happy to take questions. I know that's a lot to take in. I apologize for not giving a content or a trigger warning. Hopefully that was on the agenda that we would be talking about that. I know it can be extremely upsetting. But I'm happy to talk more about it. I don't know too much about use of the device outside of the US. That's not my area of expertise. If that is going on, I do not know about that. But if you do know places where that's happening, please feel free to contact me. And I'd love to learn more about it. But yeah, I will stop talking and open it up for questions for folks.